going to focus on science, but what you will see throughout the session is that we can transfer what we're learning to any area of the curriculum. So let me just introduce myself to begin with. My name is Sarah Summers and I'm an Apple Professional Learning Specialist here in Wales. And I also have Sean Powell on the call with me, who is another Apple Professional Learning Specialist in Wales. And together our roles and responsibilities are to support schools and practitioners and leaders within those schools to develop the use of technology to enhance and support teaching and learning across the curriculum. So I'm really hoping now that this afternoon's session will enable you to see the power of iMovie to enhance speaking and listening skills to develop scientific knowledge and understanding. But as we walk through the tutorial, I'm sure you will see, as I've said, that these skills can be transferred to any area of the curriculum. They're not just specific to science. So then, this is the Wales RTC link. So before we get into the session, if you are interested in joining the Wales Regional Training Centre, where you can access all of our recordings, this is the second in a series of Apple training sessions that we're delivering across Wales. The first session was really fantastic, delivered by Sean on the use of GarageBand to create Welsh music. That recording is already in the RTC team. This recording we're going afterwards, and we have a session now planned for every month until the end of the academic year, where we're looking at lots of different Apple technology that can support different areas of the curriculum. So you'll be able to see what's coming up. You'll be able to access past recordings to just, tap in to remind yourselves of what we've learned in these sessions. Also, in that regional training centre, you can collaborate with colleagues from all across Wales on the use of Apple technology in the classroom. And even if you feel like that one day you would like to present one of these sessions, or if you've already got some resources or recordings that you've created and you think that would be really valuable to share with practitioners across Wales, this is the place that it can be done. So if you're interested, you can just scan the QR code and that will take you to a Microsoft Teams, and then we will allow you into that team space where you can see what's in there and start collaborating. Now, as well as the Apple RTC, we do have the global Apple teacher community. And everything that you will see this afternoon has been taken from the Apple Teacher Journey. So within the Apple Teacher Journey, you are able to learn how to develop your skills in all the different core apps within the iPad or the Mac. So here you will find what we're learning has come straight from the Apple Teacher Journey iMovie badge. And if you're working through this, at the end of it, you will have achieved your Apple Teacher Badge Award, which is, something that is great to share with everybody, and also gives you that confidence that with the technology that you've got in front of you, that you have the skills that you can really enhance your teaching with that. And as well as that, it allows you into a global community, which is full of free teaching ideas and resources. So if you're interested in being part of the Apple Teacher community or following on your Apple Teacher Journey, all you have to do there is just either scan the QR code here on the screen or just copy that link into your URL. And I will be adding these links into the chat facility for you to copy as well later on. Okay. Now then, moving on to our tutorial for this afternoon. Like I said, we're going to focus on the iMovie app, and for that you can actively follow along on your iPad. If you don't have an iPad in front of you, that's fine. You can still follow along and you can catch up with the recording to actively participate as well. You will need the iMovie app, and you will also need access to your photographs, and you may possibly need to use your camera app as well. Okay. Now then, just before we get into it, it would be really interesting to see and hear what you think iMovie can do. So why do you think iMovie is effective at promoting learners' Oracy skills? So I'll just give you 1 minute to reflect on that question, and then I'll ask you politely to pop a keyword that expresses what your opinion is into the chat, please. Lovely, takes the pressure of writing away. I really like that. And as a science teacher myself, I think that is so important within science, because we have many learners that are so keen and interested and have that curiosity within science, don't they? But actually then the love of science is taken away from them because they're asked to write out their whole experiment or part of their experiment, which is something that sometimes isn't as enjoyable for some learners as there is for others. Collaboration, using visual cues to support the Oracy, absolutely fantastic. Well done. Thank you. Okay, so there are lots of ways that iMovie can actually enhance Oracy skills. And just on this slide here are all the ways, and there are probably more, of what iMovie can do to really support speaking and listening skills. The voice recording feature that we will look at this afternoon will really help develop learners' clarity and confidence in their speech. Pronunciation and clarity again. The recording and playback of their iMovie will help them refine their pronunciation and articulation in scientific terms. And again, if you're doing this in another discipline, for example, geography, history, those other terms specific to that discipline, it can really help them to understand that concept in that understanding and those specific disciplinary terms. And it helps with their confidence building. So learners become much more confident speaking in front of an audience when they've had plenty of practice to use their voice to speak when they're delivering and creating videos and iMovies as such. So use of specific terminology, as I've said, it reinforces that subject knowledge and the conceptual understanding. Really important, as well as speaking, is the active listening. So learners must listen carefully to their own recordings and those of their peers to ensure that they provide constructive feedback on their iMovie to develop it and improve it. And editing within iMovie really encourages reflection and refinement of their spoken content, because they want that audience to be able to understand it clearly. So it's really important that as part of the skills of creating a really good iMovie, that they are developing both their speaking and their listening skills, sometimes without them even realizing. So then, we're about to go into our tutorial where we look at creating our iMovie. And there are 3 key skills that we are going to be looking to achieve by the end of this hour this afternoon. We will also be touching upon other skills, like, for example, trimming clips, transitioning clips, and adding titles and text. But as you can see here, the main skills that we are going to focus on are how we add photos and videos to create our iMovie and to really customize the story that we want to tell, how we can add voiceover narration to enhance our story and to obviously promote those Oracy skills, and then how we can share the iMovie so learners can share it back with you as their teacher, or they can share it with their peers for collaboration or for peer assessment. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Now we're just about to get going, so just for you to know that throughout the session, if you have any questions, do pop them in the chat and I will be going through the chat to check all the time to make sure I haven't missed anything. If you miss anything and you would like me to repeat it, please just let me know and I'm happy to go back over anything. I want you to get the most out of this session. So we're going to go into iMovie now, and the iMovie app is this app that you can see on my screen. It has a purple background and the Hollywood star with a camera inside, and underneath it says iMovie. So if you're following along actively with me, if you can open up your iMovie for me, please. Okay, when you have opened up your iMovie, any movies that you have already created will be sitting here in front of you. Towards the bottom of your screen, you can see we've got Start New Project. When I pull that up, I have 3 options here: Magic Movie, Storyboard, and Movie. Now, Magic Movie is when the iMovie app creates a movie automatically for you. So if you were to click on there and click photographs, it would automatically put your photographs into a stream and add background music for you to create a movie for you. So we're not going to look at that one today, but that might be one option that you'd like to explore in your own time. What I am going to show you today is Storyboard, and we're going to spend the greatest part of our time on Movie. So if you can click first of all on Storyboard with me. And now what you have are different themes, different options that you can choose to create a storyboard. You can see we've got About Me, Celebration, Cooking, and if we scroll down this screen towards the bottom, we've got Science Experiment. You can download more, so there are lots of different themes that you can download from the iCloud to support your teaching. But for this session, we're just going to look at Science Experiment. So if we click on that one, and then the Science Experiment theme has opened up. And in here, I'm just scrolling across here at the styles. You can see there are lots of different styles that we can choose. So with these styles, it will give you the type of background and different style of writing. So you can see the type of writing that we've got here. And that's the style that your iMovie will appear in when you have created it. So just for this purpose, I'm going to choose this style here. And then I'm going to come up into the top right-hand corner and click Create. Now my storyboard iMovie has created templates for me, and what you can see on the left hand side is I have a panel, and this has given me a slide deck, so my learners would be able to follow this slide deck and add the information in. So on the first slide here, I can click on the plus. It tells me that I can rename the clip. I can take a video or a photograph, or I can select a video or a photograph from my library. So what the learners can do there, for example, if we rename the clip, we're just going to delete that and we can call it Investigating Forces, and we click off and we've got a new title slide there. When the learner clicks up here and they click Take Video or Photo, the camera app would open up and the learner can then speak into the camera, recording themselves or recording their peer, and during that time then they can talk about what their investigation is, what the question is that they're investigating, for example, what their prediction is, and save that, and it would automatically sit in this slide. They can then move through these holding slides here. So this one then they can say, you know, here it says what is the experiment's hypothesis. So again, they can rename the clip, they can type over the text that is there, add their video footage in, or if they've already pre-recorded their video footage, they just select it from the library. So they can follow through each of what's already been put here as a template for them. And I'm going through this quite quickly because I don't want us to focus on this today. I want us to focus on the actual creation of an iMovie. But I just wanted you to know that these templates are here for you. And there's a particular one on science. So if you've got learners that you want to scaffold the learning, you want to help structure what their movie looks like, this is really useful. And when they've added all of that information in, they can, down here at the bottom, they can add plus if they want to add more slides in, for example. But when they've done it, all they need to do is click done. And their storyboard movie then will be added to their projects where they can share it or collaborate with others on it. And now when we go to start a new project, this time we're going to go to movie. And this is where your learners can create their movie from scratch. So when they've clicked on movie, they will have any of their photos and their videos that they've already captured sitting here in their doc. So if you're thinking about within your class, your learners would have been either informed of a science experiment that they would have had to inquire about, or maybe they have created their own scientific inquiry that they are then going to investigate. And during that inquiry, they can have used the camera app to take still images, and they can use the camera app to take videos of actually what they're doing when they're actually investigating and doing the practical investigation. And they can take videos of themselves talking into the camera. So they're creating a video where they're giving that information of maybe their hypothesis or their results or what they found out. And when all of that is saved to their camera roll, it will be sitting here when they click on the movie option. So what I would like you to do now, if you're following along, it's very possible that you're not going to have science photographs in your camera roll. But what you can do is you can just, for the purpose of creating this movie, you can just click on some images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on some images here. I'm going to see if I've got any more related to science. I'm going to click here, here, and here. When you have clicked on the images that you would like to use, so I have some still images and I have one video recording. And to tell the difference between a still image and a video recording is you can see here on this tile, I have that camera button there in my red circle, which will tell me that that is actually a video. I don't have it on this tile, so I know that that's a still image. So if you do have a video, you can click on as well as a still image. That would be really useful for experimenting this afternoon as well. When you've done that, come to the bottom of your page and create movie. Click that. And what you will see then is in the movie window pane at the bottom, we have got all of our images have been dropped in to the movie window at the bottom. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at today is the use of trimming, clipping, and reordering our clips. Now, looking at the way that my images and video have dropped into my window pane at the bottom, I'm not happy with how they're sitting and the order of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is reorder them. So what's happening is here, I want that to go towards the end. So you can see when I click on that image in my movie window pane at the bottom, it's captured that image with a yellow border. Now what I'm going to do is hold down on that image and lift it up, and you can see it's risen above the other images that I have, and I am just going to drag it along. I'm going to continue to drag it until I get to the end of my movie, okay, because I want that to be the end. I'm just going to drop it then where I want it. This image here, I think that's a nice image that would be useful at the front of my movie, so I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to lift it up, click on it, lift it up. This time pull it towards the right so I can put it at the start of the movie. So click, here we go. And I'm going to drop that at the start. You might look across your movie and have a look at what you've got. And you might decide, actually, I don't want that image in my movie. So what you can do now is find the image that you don't want. Again, click on that image. And on the bottom right-hand corner, you have the bin with delete. So you can just make sure that that yellow border is around the clip that you do not want, and press delete, and it deletes it for you, it takes it away. Okay, so just have a go now. I'm going to give you 1 minute to have a go at rearranging your clips in your iMovie into the order that you would like, and then we're going to have a go at trimming and reordering and clipping them, sorry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at how we can clip these images. So if I click on my first image here, you can see that at the top here, I have a time. It says 5 seconds. Now for me, 5 seconds is too long for my image to last, so I want to shorten that. An easy way to shorten it, all we have to do is to make sure that I click on the yellow taskbar, the border at the end, and I'm just going to drag it in. And you can see, if you look at the top now of the screen, those seconds are decreasing. So I've gone from 5 seconds to 2 seconds. So that's a simple way to shorten your clip. If you want to trim it, you just grab the corner and you pull it inwards. If you want to make your clip longer, then you do the opposite. So on my next clip, it's 4.5 seconds. I might decide that actually I want people to have a bit of time to see exactly what they need for this experiment. So again, I'm going to click on my clip to ensure I'm on the right clip, grab hold of the end of this clip using the yellow, and I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to put it at 5.5 seconds at the top there, you can see. So I'll just give you 30 seconds now to have a go at changing the size of your clips just by trimming them. You can click on them, pull them inwards to trim them, and pull them outwards to make them larger. Okay, now if we move on, you can see these are still images. As I move through my movie, I come to my actual video. Now my video that I added in was a screen recording. You can see from the first part that actually captures me when I am turning on my screen recording. I don't want that in my iMovie, so I want to cut that out. So what we can do now is we can cut that out by splitting this video. And to do that, what we can do is down the bottom, you can see we've got actions. I'm going to click on actions, okay? And I'm going to make sure that I can split this. So I'm going to drag my movie where I want to split it The white line, that playhead button, is about where I want to split it, and I'm going to click on my video. So I've got that yellow border all the way around it. The white playhead line is in between where I want to split my video. Now on the actions button at the bottom of the screen, you can see we have split, detach audio, or duplicate. If you click on split, you can now see that that video has been split into 2 clips. I don't want the clip to the left, so I am then going to click on that. I'm clicked on the right clip because it's got the yellow border, and I am just simply going to click on delete on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And
sorry to interrupt 1 second. I'm at the bottom and I've only got a duplicate button. Have I missed something?
Is it because you are on a still image?
Oh, have I got to be on a video?
You've got to be on a video, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good question. Lots of people might be wondering that. So you can only split if you have a video imported into iMovie, okay? So if you've got a still image, you'll have, so if I click on this still image here, you can see I've got the actions button and it only allows me to duplicate. So with a still image, you can trim, you can make them smaller, you can pull them to make them longer, or you can duplicate them. So for example, this image here, if I wanted to repeat that image later on in my movie, if I click on duplicate, it duplicates exactly the same image for me. And then I can hold down, lift it up and drag it to where I want it. So it saves you the job of having to find the same photo and drop it back in. But when we have a video dropped into our iMovie creation, it does allow us to do something more with it. What you can see on my screen here now is I have highlighted the video clip. I've got the yellow box around it. But if you look at the bottom of my screen, I've clicked on actions, but that split is grayed out, which means I can't actually split anything. And that's because this white play headline is at the start of that clip. So it's telling me there is nothing to split. So you've got to ensure that you move your video to the part that you actually want to split. So for example, if I put it here now, and then I click back on the video clip, you can see now that split is highlighted in white, which is telling me I'm allowed to do it. So I'll just demonstrate again. If I split there, it's in 2 pieces and you can click on it. You may decide that you want to move that clip to another part of your movie. So for example, you can do exactly the same then with your still images. You can click on it, hold it and reorder it, or you may just want to delete it to remove it from your iMovie. Okay, everyone. If you've got any issues, please do unmute. Happy for you to unmute or pop it in the chat, okay? Let me know if I'm going too fast. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at some transitions, so how these clips move between one another. So if I come back here now, this icon here is our transition button, and that's telling us how this clip is moving into the next clip. So if I just push this clip back past the playhead button, I'm going to press play here. And when you press play here, you get to have a preview in the top of your screen of what your movie looks like. So when we do that, we'll be able to see how this clip transitions into this clip. So let's have a watch. So you can see there how it just dissolved into the next clip. When I click on this icon here, just like our still images or our movie images, it highlights itself in that yellow box to tell you that that's the part of the movie you're working on. Now then, at the bottom of our screen, we've got some options of what we can do to transition our clips between each other. So first of all, we can have no transition. So we can turn transition off. We can click it on none. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. You can see very quickly the slides move between each other. If we click theme, what that will do is it will automatically take the transition to the theme that the iMovie app has already chosen for you. So you might like that style of it, and it's moved like that, and you will notice there was a sound as well. You might want to dissolve them, so you can choose dissolve. You can choose where they slide between each other. They can wipe between each other, and they can fade from one into the next. The other thing you can do with transitioning is you can change the speed of it. So you would have noticed with mine it happened very quickly. So what I can do here, I have times. I can change it between 0.5 seconds to the maximum, which is 2 seconds. So if I click it at 1.5 seconds. And now we also have this button here which says sound effects off. There are already sound effects placed with these transitions. So if you click on, have a play with them and see if you like the sounds, and then you will be able to decide if you want to keep them on or if you want to keep them off. If your learners are adding in voiceover, which we will do because the whole point of this iMovie is to enhance their Oracy skills, I would suggest maybe they don't have the sound effects on here because we might want to use their voice to move between the slides here. But that's something that you can decide. So I'm going to give you a minute now just to play with your transitions. So as you move through your iMovie window here at the bottom, you can click on each of the transitions, choose which one you would like, how long you would like it to last for, and if you want the sound on or off. Okay then, so what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at filters. So if we click on a clip, okay, we've got our yellow border around it, which shows us that we can now edit it. So we've worked on actions, you know how they work. We can also look at filters. So when you look at filters here, you have a range of filters that you can choose from. So basically it's the theme that you like, but just to make your learners aware, if they choose comic, for example, like this, and they have text on their screen, it's not going to be clear for the viewer. So that's something to bear in mind. They have lots of different themes which they can choose from. As you can see, we've got coloured backgrounds, which are really good for learners with visual impairment. You can also choose your filters by going up to the top of the screen here, and on the settings button, if you click that, you can see then we've got the project filter across the top as well. So you can just scroll between those and it is exactly the same options for you. Okay, if you was wondering what that button was at the top. So you can choose some filters for your clips if you would like to. So for example, on this one, you can change this one to a comic strip, for example, if you would like to. You might like to do the same with your duplicate image. Just have a little look at filters. You can change the contrast by pulling down the contrast slide here as well. As you can see, it can go from 0 all the way up to 100. What we can also do as well is if we click on our video image, we can also change the filter on our video image, as you can see. So I'm still on filters at the bottom. So I can click on it, I can click on filters, and I can change the characters in my video to comic style characters if I want to, or I could give them a blockbuster style if I wanted to make that video a bit more dramatic. So you can add these images to these filters both to images and our motion images as well, our videos. What we can also do with our video clips that we've dropped in is we can change the speed at how they move through our iMovie. So with our editing tools at the bottom of our page here, if we click on speed, you can see now underneath my video, I have this yellow bar, and that's highlighting the speed at which my video is moving in my iMovie. Now, if you want to, you can speed that up, so you can put it right up to the hair, which is the fastest speed it can go. You could have it very slow, so you could pull it down to the tortoise if you wanted your video to be in slow motion. If you wanted it quite that average speed, keep it in the middle. What is really good about this tool is you can change it on certain parts of your video. So for example, you can see I've got my demonstration here of science, and I would like to slow it down when actually the experiment happens. So you can see from my video that the two characters, they are putting in all the mixtures into the chemical mixtures that they need to into the conical flasks. They're just about to see the reaction, coming up to it. They've got their goggles on, which means something is going to happen anytime soon. So I actually think that I would like to freeze this point here. So if I've got my playhead here where I want to freeze it, I can then click freeze. And now you can see on top of where that yellow section was at the bottom, the yellow section's turned to white lines, and I've now got a new yellow sort of rectangle box, if you like to call it, and I'm going to drag that all the way to the end, because that's the part, or to here, that's the part I want to freeze. So that part will be sort of frozen for a second in my video, okay? What I might like to do then, towards the end, is slow it down. So here I can really slow down what I've done. If you decide you want to take the freeze away, all you have to do is click reset and it takes it away, okay? If you want to get to a part where you think actually this is going to be really exciting, for example, the very end of my video where all the action happens, if I can find it, here we go. I am then going to slow this part down. So I'm going to click here, make sure my playhead is where I need it to be, and then I am going to slow it right down. Oops. Okay. I'm going to drag that part and slow it down. So what I would like you to do now is just to have a go at changing the filters and playing with the speed at which your motion picture is being delivered. And if I press play, you'll be able to hear where I've slowed it down. Actually, the voices, so the audio is slowed down as well. And then if we click back on it and we speed it up.
Actually dish soap, so if you want to put some dish soap in.
I'm sure the learners will find that really funny, but it gives that conversation, doesn't it, about why speaking and listening is so important for the audience to be able to understand them. Okay, so anything you're not happy with, all you have to do is click on it, delete it, and then you can start again. Oh, okay. So have a go at just playing with your video, changing the speed, changing the filters. I'll give you a minute to do that, and then we're going to add on some voiceover just before we finish. I see a really good question in the chat. Yes, you can, and thank you, Sean. Yeah, we can have voiceovers and sounds, which is what we're going to move on to now just before we finish. And I'm quite conscious of time, so I'm going to show you that quickly. So if we go up here to the plus button, and then we've got audio here at the bottom, what we can do here, you can see we've got soundtracks, my music, sound effects. So what we can do is we can click on soundtracks. You can add a soundtrack into your movie. So you can click anyone, for example, that one. If you want it, you just click it and drop it where you want it. If you want to shorten it, just like when you trimmed your clips, you click on it and you just drag the edge to shorten your audio as well. What you can do as well if you want to add in a sound effect, so just to show you at the moment, if you've got bubbles, you can add that in. And now what you can see is we've got bubbles and a soundtrack in place at the same time. And to add voiceover, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the microphone here. So if you click on the microphone there, because I am presenting, I'm unable to use my microphone, but what you should be able to do is click on the microphone here. It will show you your microphone is working when you speak because the bar here will move from red to green. All you have to do is hit record. There will be a record button here. You can say what you would like to say. So for example, this experiment is focusing on the chemical reaction in two different types of liquids. We are going to call this elephant's toothpaste because the reactions are so large. When you have done it, you can listen back to it. If you're happy with it, you need to click accept. When you've clicked accept, it will drop in to your pane at the bottom. And that's then where you can pull it to where you want to be. So you can put it next to the clip that you would like it to go with. Okay. And just to show you as well what you can do with both voiceover and the audio that you've added in is you can click on these, okay, and it says here foreground, so you can click on that and you can put it at the front. That means when you listen to the iMovie, that music will come from the foreground, and you can do that with your voice narration too. If I click on this one here, you should be able to move this one to the background. So if you click on actions, you can say background. So you can have a conversation with your learners about the importance of, if they do want to have sound effects or background music, that actually the story that they're telling about their scientific inquiry, what they did, how they need to be safe when they're working practically, and what they found out is far more important in this iMovie than actually the music that they're creating and putting into the background. That music is just there to give the effect of the movie. So they will need to move that sound effect and soundtrack to the back and their audio voice to the front. Okay, so that does cover everything that we need to do on our skills apart from share. So I'm just going to give you 1 minute to have a play because I'm conscious of time. Okay, and the last thing you need to do then is when you're complete with your iMovie, just click done. Okay, and you can see on our screen we have the share button. And if you click share, you can share, save or share your video if you click here. And these options share at the top. If you have learners with iPads in the classroom, they can airdrop to one another or they can airdrop to you. If you have Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams that you collaborate on in school, that will come here where they can add it to their Google Classroom or their Microsoft Teams space. Or if they have an iPad that they use regularly that is known to them, they can save it to their files for when they return later so that they can collaborate with their peer.